Alright, just set that there, and we're done. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Well, I'm at my new place right now. Just got everything situated. Well, not everything situated. There's still some things we're going to work out. But hey, at least I got a new DVD in the mail, so I figured I would check that out. So, here we go.
From one of the most spectacular locations in the country, Six Flags Magic Mountain Amusement Park in Southern California, get ready to be part of an awesome experience. You're about to enter the video game! Yeah! Woo! Okay, okay! It's Phantasmagoric! More exciting, more dazzling than any game show you've ever seen.
New place, same crappy game shows.
One thing was for sure. They both believed Sparks to be a total tool.
Be an exciting contest which shows that divorced couples can still have fun together, right?
Mythological hero H-list. C. On the spot dice spin.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Oh, JM Productions. What hath God wrought?
This is Starcade, TV's first video arcade game show, starring your favorite video games, and some brand new ones being introduced to the public for the first time anywhere. And now, here's your host for Starcade, Jeff Edwards.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome to Starcade. Well, here we are backstage where our players are warming up for today's big match because today, one of them is going to have the opportunity to win his very own video arcade game. So, players, you ready? Yeah. All right, let's go play Starcade. Here we go.
For those that don't know, JM Productions was the company behind the classic game show Starcade. Starcade was appointment viewing for anybody who loved video games back in the early 80s. This classic stable of the 80s arcade going public saw contestants playing their favorite arcade games and some of the newest of their time in order to score the most points and hopefully win their very own video arcade game. It was a great show that may have been low budget in terms of look, but did everything well in terms of tight gameplay, great hosting in Jeff Edwards, and overall enjoyment of watching these video warriors hack away at Burger Time and Sinistar for 50 seconds. But then the video game crash in 1983 happened, and Starcade would be a victim of that. So, in 1984, after Starcade got canceled, JM Productions came up with a new show to fill those weekend time slots. What we got was a complete inverse of what Starcade was. While it looked high budget, but when you got past the look, it was one of the worst shows of the 1980s. It's time to play the video game.
And here to lead us safely through the video game is Greg Winfield.
How are ya? Some of you are going to receive some great prizes today, and some of you are going to get zapped right out of this world. So let's play the video game.
With Jeff Edwards busy doing Big Spin during this time, the hosting duties to be given to the very punchable Greg Winfield. I don't know who he is, but all I know is that I hate him. I hate him because he commits the ultimate game show hosting sin, being so disingenuous that nobody could like him, even when he could be sincere. Most of the episodes have Greg playing a character such as a magician or a really crappy Indiana Jones ripoff, but sadly there was no gigantic boulder that could crush him or make him into a passable host. More often than not, when he would talk to the contestants, he would act more or less like Yogi Bear looking for a picnic basket. And on top of that, he's also really inept at what he does. He frequently forgets the rules to games to the point where the announcer has to call him out on air. That is a gigantic problem for the meathead when it comes to any game show. When the announcer is doing your job better than what you could do, then it's time to go to another line of work. Then we have the model in Karen Lee. Again, don't really know who she is, but she falls into the category of models who are only there because Vanna was hot at the time. Basically, all she did was stand there and model the prices be the pawn in the res-off. Really, nothing that exciting at all. Look, I'm not even 2 minutes into the show, and I already hate it. I just want to get this over with. Let's get to some gameplay. Hopefully that'll be better. Not. To start, the announcer will call 2 contestants to come on down and play a computer game of the time. The person that completes the assigned objective first wins a prize, which is usually a collection of computer games, and comes up on stage to play a game. If this is already sounding like The Price is Right to you, then step up and claim your prize, because that's basically what the show is. It's a video game variant of The Price is Right, but unlike The Price is Right that uses mundane prizes for objects for fun games, the video game uses fun video games and turns them into really mundane games, pending if they actually involve games at all. The one that actually had some thought put into it, and oddly enough had nothing to do with video games, was The Maze. In this game, a contestant walks around a 5x5 light floor and hopes to find a treasure box, i.e. a green space, and avoid the monsters in the maze, i.e. a red square. Once the contestant finds the treasure, they must leave the maze in a path that doesn't cross over to a previously used square. If they got out, they would win the prize. While the game itself is fine, the execution of it is brought down due to one person, and that's the announcer. His portrayal of the monster borders on the irritating and gets to the annoying quick. Not only that, the whole aura is lost because the producers thought it would be a great idea to have some fade shot over the maze while he is under green light, i.e. the announcer. It's just a terrible idea for what could be considered a good prototype for Pathfinder, but it just became another bad game on the video game. And the rest of the games weren't treated with such care or given any type of thought to them. They were given such names as Game Stalker, where a contestant had to identify a video game character and what game they originated from. Audience Favorites was another one where a contestant was shown 3 games and had to guess what a previous audience said was their first favorite and second most favorite games from that list. Then there is Name That Game, which is the same as Starcade's Name the Game, except with only 1 video game instead of 4. And finally, Bit Attack, where a contestant is shown a video game and has to answer a question based on said video game. The problem with that one is that unless you really know your video games, you wouldn't guess them unless it was multiple choice. All of these games have one thing in common, and that's the games aren't fun to watch, nor are they to play. Then you get to the res-off, and it's rather uninteresting as well. To start, each of the contestants must pick a number from a board that looks an awful lot like Wheel of Fortune's puzzle board, maybe on the verge of lawsuit-inducing, to decide who plays what position. After that is settled, the contestant must move Karen on the maze grid either 1 or 2 spaces front, back, left, or right. If the box turns white, they are safe. If it turns red, then the contestant is magically transitioned out of the game, or de-res as they like to call it. It's really just a rehashed maze and usually ends in 1 to 2 turns anyways, so you really can't get invested into the contestants, or the game itself. Finally, we have the end, or the bonus game. Remember how Starcade ended? Well, it's basically the same bonus game, but with one exception, and that's the way the goal is decided. And it's worse. On Starcade, it was the average score of 20 people playing the same game for 30 seconds. And that was a fair way to decide it. Instead, on the video game, the way the goal was determined was this. The champion was shown 10 scores that 10 players got in 30 seconds. Then the lights would flash on the board, and the contestant must stop the lights and stop the board in order to see what score must be beat. The scores would range from the laughably easy to the insanely difficult. If the contestant does beat the score, they win the grand prize of a robot and a brand new video arcade game. And it ends with one of the worst sayings by a game show host. Take it away, Greg Winfield.
All right, well, thanks for being with us. Until next time, stay good and be solid.
And that was the video game. I'd rather be playing Aliens, Colonial Marines, Ride to Hell, High Glide, or any other horrible, no good, very bad video game than watch this ever again. This show sucked. Everything about the show was wrong. The gameplay, the host, the setup, everything I knew was wrong. Black is white, up is down, and short is long. And this would be Jam Productions' last show to make it to air. They would have a pilot that was shot for ABC in 1985 under the name Finders Keepers. But that would go unsold because it genuinely sucked. They are still a name in the classic gaming circles for creating Starcade, and their website, starcade.tv, is a great destination to see contestant interviews plus all the old episodes. At least it still gives us good memories of a great game show instead of this horrible one. Next time out on Game Show Garbage, the sad farewell. The lethargic farewell. The not caring farewell of a once great game show. Bye-bye!